Hello, Bumpy McSquigums here, and it's time for another first look, this time at Worlds of Magic by Wastelands Interactive. It is a 4X strategy game, and if you folks can remember way back when, it's a game that is heralded by many as a really great game with an awesome magic system, really good turn-based strategy, 4X, whatever the case is. Master of Magic was a game that many people loved, and even to this day, they still wish there was a sequel. Well, Worlds of Magic also felt that game was amazing, and they decided to kind of try to become the spiritual successor of Master of Magic, and that is what they have attempted, and I will let you guys be the judge. I think the game is pretty solid the way it is now, and it's always constantly getting updates, and things are being added. In fact, earlier today I tried to do the recording, and my puppy decided to bark, and that's fine, but there was actually somebody here, so I had to cancel the recording and start over. So we're going to start anew here. We're going to add all of these wonderful planes to the existence here, and we're not going to go into like the super ultra mega deep walkthrough tutorialization of the game, but I'm going to give you guys kind of a rough idea of what's going on in the first 20 turns or so, and maybe get a combat in there. Might go a little past 20 turns, I'm not 100% certain, but I'm not going to go into like the utmost detail of everything there is to know about the game. I'm going to try to kind of breeze over some stuff and just summarize it so you guys can actually see more of the gameplay. If I do rather well in doing so, well, then I guess maybe we'll get a few extra turns in, and then I will continue this series a little later on with a couple more first look episodes. I'm thinking between probably 2 and 5 episodes I should be able to get out of the game to kind of showcase the game in all of its awesome glory. So, briefly, we have Prime, Air, Fire, and Shadow. These are different planes of existence. You can have multiple ones in the world. I'm going to have 2 opponents. The world size is going to be medium. There will be portals between the different planes of existence, so you will find those. The Prime is basic. It's your basic world. No real benefit or disadvantages. The Shadow is for the undead. The whole thing is corrupted. Living creatures will have a hard time. There's less food and there's power. Fire has lava and stuff, less food, power and production is increased, and without flying the air place is going to be pretty rough, but you get a lot more gold, if not a little less production. So there's that in a nutshell. There are, they've changed the, no, okay, they started me as the Draconians. Alright, so there's 5 races right now. There's the High Men, there is the Unhallowed, there's the Grey Elves, the Draconians, and the Orcs. I'm going to start with the Orcs, but there's advantages and disadvantages to each one. If you guys want to look a little more in depth, I do plan to cover this on my channel when it does finally fully release, and I will go into more detail at that point. But if you guys want to, I will go through, and you can pause and read this stuff as we go through. The Unhallowed, the Grey Elves, the Draconians, and of course the Orcs. I will give you a brief rundown. The High Men are the humans, if you will. They basically lack any specialization, but they're good, solid all around. So they're just like a jack of all trades. The undead are at war with all the other lords. They have a simplified economy. There's no unrest and stuff. The elves have a slow population growth, and they have extremely mobile armies, but unfortunately they're also frail. And the same thing with the Draconians. The Grey Elves also get additional power from the income from their population. Again, even slower growth and high unrest, so they're always fighting amongst themselves. These guys aren't great at magic, and they have no ranged units, so the Orcs are at a disadvantage there. However, their units are actually quite a bit more powerful. Now here, again, I'm not going to dwell too much on it. You have all these different schools of magic. You have 12 points you can use. You can add stuff to make things harder for you, but get more points. So tit for tat, I suppose. I'm going to change the portrait to, they did not add an orc portrait yet. I'm going to change it to the, I don't know, the beholder, I guess. And since we're the orcs, I'm going to go with the warlord. So basically, it looks like our units can gain 2 more levels than normally would be possible. That used one of our points. So that's one of our perks that we're going to have. We're going to be the green, and we can go with any of these things here. I'm going to go with probably 4 in protection, maybe 3 in augmentation, and then I'm going to do, I think I'll do 3 in life, 4 in augmentation. There we go. I will go over the circles for you guys, just so you know. circle of life, there's a circle of water, the circle of fire, circle of death, circle of earth, and circle of air. Then inside you have the secondary circles, biomancy circle, destruction, mentalism, protection, summoning, and augmentation. So assuming we're going to be fighting and we're going to be more like a warrior type of race as opposed to a magical race or, you know, damage from afar type race, we're going to be right in the thick of things. I figure augmenting our people, making them stronger, it's a pretty good idea. Having the ability to heal probably sounds like a pretty good idea as well. And of course being able to cast protection spells seems like a great plan. So that's why I rolled with what I did. And here, depending on what skills and what schools of magic you decided to go into, what circles, you have different tiers of spells you can train and a number of spells you can train per different circle that you trained in. So we have 3 that we can train in the life circle. I'm going to go with aid, I'm going to go with heal, and I am going to go with I think bless weapon. And then we're going to go to the augmentation circle, and you'll see that a lot of the circles will kind of, you know, the secondary circles feed off of the other circles. So augmentation feeds off of life, was it air and earth? So life, air, and earth feed into the augmentation circle. So they all kind of feed amongst one another. That's why you'll notice there's a few life spells in here already, but we've already trained them, we already know them, so we don't have to take those. So what I'm going to do is levitation. I'm going to go with giant strength. I'm going to go with keen edge, and I am going to go with freezing weapon. So there we go. And then finally our protection. We're going to go with bless. We're going to go with great endurance. We have 4 spells to assign. We're going to go with stone skin and searing aura. And that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to hop in and get started. And everything is being created and coming up shiny and new for us. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. This is our overview map. There's many things here for you guys to know and learn. I'll go over some of them briefly. If you click on the info panel, you can hover over each of these things and get ideas of what the food bonus, production bonus, and all that stuff is inside your territory. And you can decide where you want to build your next city based on that. You can take a look at yourself. You are that person. You have no fame. You have these spells in this area. Positive disciplines, negative ones, so on and so forth. And finally, your strategic map. If you want a huge overview map of what's going on in the world, you can have that as well. Alright, we can go back down. We're going to get rid of that. Now, the game implements something that I think I've probably enjoyed the most out of all the later 4X games coming our way. Ooh, okay, I'll explain that in a minute, sorry. ADD a little bit there, guys, I suppose. Anyhow, and that is the fact that oftentimes when you play 4X games, there's so much going on that you'll forget to do some stuff. And it just kills me if I'm like, oh, I forgot to move my army. Oh, I forgot to research a spell. Oh, whatever the case is. This game has a failsafe here where if your army needs attention or critically important things need to happen, it will say, hey, before you end your turn, you have to do this. So in this particular case, it is armies require your attention. So we're going to click on this right here, and it shows up our armies right there. And I'm going to split my forces. So you see the 2 up here, and what you can do is you can either click this army button over here, which is a unit roster, or you can double click any of your armies you have selected up top, and it will open this unit roster panel. Now again, I'm not going to go into massive detail, but everything you want to know about your different group of guys, your different units and stuff, you can check out here. The different skills they have, their attack and defense modifiers, and all that wonderful fun stuff, and what they do, and then you can see melee, armor class, all that stuff is here and available to you. So to split your guys, you use this button here. You drag one guy down into the other spot. Sorry guys, something did not work right there. There we come on. I'm failing at dragging, and then you just right click where you want them to go. And there it is. So he's moved out, and I'm going to move out this way. Now what I was oohing about earlier is here is the gateway to the Fire Realm. and as you see, it is defended by some nasty stuff. There's no way we can actually go and battle those things right now, or probably for a very long period of time. So that's going to stay pretty much sealed against us. But that's okay. But you'll notice there's like this thing here. There's no guardians here. If you left click on any of the stuff laying around on the ground, like, it won't work on the deer because those are resources. But this camp down here, that's a bandit camp, that's guarded by berserkers. We'll have to battle the berserkers, and then we can get some gold. Over here, there's no guardians, but there's a possibility that there's some gold there. So we're going to head toward that with one of our group of guys. Over here, there's an old library. There's the possible guardians of spell swords, which pretty much means it should be there, and you'll get some extra research points. So all sorts of stuff. Now, you think that it's time to end the turn, right? Nope, not even close. So there's still a lot of other stuff that we haven't looked at yet. The diplomacy is pretty obvious. If you run across any other sorcerer lords, you'll be able to do some diplomatic stuff. There's relations against people, but again, nothing there. And see any treaties that are up and running. You can view the different planes of reality, like the fire plane, but we can't go there because we're not there yet. So we stay on was it the prime plane, I think it was. You can use your forge, which we'll go to in a minute. Alright, so city management. You can either click on, see how it pops up down here? You can click there so you can build a building, or you can just go over here and right click your building, or your town. And then here you can hover over any of the buildings you see, and it will have a little pop-up, and it will tell you what those things actually do, and what they allow you to build, and what they allow you to recruit. So it's pretty nice. It's a good representation. Our town looks a little lackluster though. So first things first, we have a total of, looks like 4 peasants, and we're producing 8 food right now because they're all farmers. Well, we don't need 8 food. We need some production, so we're going to throw 1 person into production, and we need a person doing research. Probably don't need the person doing research, but we're going to have them anyway. Okay, so it looks like right now we're not producing, we're consuming 4 food income. If negative, the city cannot produce enough food to sustain itself. It's at 0, which is fine. That should be okay. If it was any higher, or if it was any lower, then we'd be running into problems. I could be wrong on this. I'm still kind of figuring out the whole food situation. It kind of makes me a little nervous, but we'll see. Alright, so we want to produce some buildings. That's what you always do. First thing you do in any 4X game, you start producing buildings, units, whatever the case is. So we go here to construct building. And the first thing I want to do is be able to actually store up a little bit of extra food just in case, some surplus. So the granary is going to help with that. And it's going to improve food production, so we won't need as many farmers farming. So granary is going to be the first building. It's going to take me 13 turns to do it. And you can actually queue up additional buildings if you so were inclined. Now we're going to exit there, and there's one thing left it wants you to do, and that's choose the spell to research. So you already chose all the spells you want to start with. Now you can actually research additional spells. And I think the one I want to do is Healer Familiar. I think that might be a pretty good skill. I don't know. We'll test it. I usually go with a destructive path. I go with like shooting bolts of energy and stuff just to do damage to the enemies. Now you think we're done here, but we're not. There's still some stuff that you want to do in your first few turns. So I'm going to try to give you guys a good idea of what to do, but not, again, I'm not going to try to dwell too much on the specifics. If you click on the little spell book down here in the bottom left, sorry, on the left hand side of the bottom right circle, my bad, it brings up our magic thing. And our magic thing is amazing. So, what is it? We have 17 spell power, which is actually higher than we normally have, and I don't know why. But, hey, whatever. I'm not going to complain. We have 17 spell power, which is divided between these 3 things. Alright, sorry about that, guys. There was some issues and things popping up there with distractions and interruptions. Anyhow, sorry about the fade to black. Spellcraft. Spellcraft is very important because, in a nutshell, basically what it does is it allows you to use a certain amount of mana, 30 at this point, per turn. So if you're using enchantments on the world map or you're in a combat, before you hit end turn here on the world map, you can only use 30 mana. Now the mana you get is actually up here. This is how much mana you gain per turn. So Spellcraft at 5, we'll get our next point of Spellcraft to be able to use 31 in 12 turns. If we decided to max that out, it would take us 4 turns to get the next level of Spellcraft. 5 seems to be pretty standard and seems to work pretty well, so I'm going to lock that into place, which means now when I drag this up and down, it's only going to adjust the other 2. Now, if you're really, really wanting to research out your spells quicker, you go into your research tab here and you drag that up. But that would mean that you're going to really, really hinder your amount of mana that you're going to be able to use. So what I'm going to do, since I plan not to do a lot of combat and fighting right away, I'm going to go with... I think I'm going to go with that. We're going to have 10 research points total. Because you... Alright, so it's 9 plus the 1 from the city, because we have one guy actually working as a researcher, right? And we're going to get 3 mana per turn. So that's how I'm going to divvy it up. And it's going to work out pretty good, I feel. That means each time we hit end turn, we'll get 3 more mana. Once we get up to 30, we'll be at our max per day that we can cast. It should continue to increase, though, so something to think about. So you keep that in mind. 3 mana per day. It will accumulate pretty rapidly, pretty decently. Some people even go down to 1 per day and just really drag out the early game. But we're not going to do that. We're going to try to get some spells, and then maybe we can actually fight a little earlier. So, with that, I think that's pretty much all I needed to show you. There's alchemy, which you can transfer mana into gold if you needed gold for anything, and we are losing 1 gold per turn, but hopefully we're able to explore and get enough gold to make that work. Later down the road, you'll be able to build buildings that will increase your gold income, and we hope for that. We hope for that. Alright, and then here's enchantments that are actually cast by you and then by enemies. So, no, that is available. And then the forge, I'm not going to deal with this at all right now. This will be in one of the future episodes, guys. I played around with it a little bit. I don't understand it fully, and it's not really viable to do it early on in the game. So, at least I don't feel that it is. We don't have a hero yet, so that's why I'm saying this. Once we get a hero and everything else, then we can play around with this. Either way, it's there, it's available, and it's something we can do. So, at this point, we are ready to end our turn. So, we're going to end our turn. Some of your units will desert at the end of the turn due to lack of food. Alright, well there you go, guys. So indeed I was miscalculating the food, so it's not showing negative, but apparently that's still not enough. There, now we have a +2. We won't be able to store any extra until we get the granary up. So now we'll be fine. So now we can end our turn. And like I said, it's got a lot of fail safes in here, so you do less stupid things, because I'm very prone to doing dumb things. It's kind of what I do. Alright, so we're going to stop this guy right here first. And we're going to left click on it, and boom, we're going to interact. We got 41 gold, so we're up to 90, -1. And then we're going to move him down this way. This guy's just going to kind of go on a little exploring trip and see what he can find. There's no guardians, and I don't know if there's anything there, so we're going to still check that out. There's a gold mine there. This place is very, very, very well defended. We don't want to deal with that at all. We're going to end our turn. So once you get, the first initial setup, and you don't have to talk through it, it goes a lot quicker. Once you get your first setup going, you can start banging out the turns pretty rapidly. So we're going to move here and see what's here. Interact. You found the lost tribe. The population has increased by 500, so that was a pretty good thing to find there. We're going to try to move out to the next place. We can't do that this turn. We're going to move down here, though. We can get closer. We'll move over here. It's our turn once again. And we are here. We're going to interact, and we got 43 gold, so now we're rocking on 131. Still -1, but it's fine. One of the things I don't particularly like about the control scheme of this game is I'm very used to WASD. It's what I've slowly grown accustomed to over the last, 2 decades or so of gaming. This game uses panning at the edge of the screen, which is fine. It's great. I don't mind that at all. In fact, I prefer having that as an option. But it also wants you to use arrow keys, which I'm less inclined to use. But it is what it is, and I can understand it. So I'm not going to be overwhelmingly upset or anything. Just something to keep in mind. And there's another gate to the fire plane. Alright, we're going to interact. And there we go. 37 gold for us there. There's even more nasty things guarding that. There's some guardians over here. We cannot handle most of this stuff, guys. So keep that in mind. We continue to move out and explore. And... okay, we're going to move here, I guess. Can we move there? No, we can't. Alright. So we'll end our turn again. We will move there now and interact. And we get even more money. Can't handle that as I stated earlier. Absolutely not there. Alright, I guess it's time just to continue to move down this way. And nope, we can't deal with the arcane wraith. So there's going to be a lot of random easy encounters that you can level up your guys with. You can get certain rewards and things for. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So we're going to continue to end our turn. Our guys will auto-move if you give them a destination beyond where they can reach in one turn. They'll continue to move, and eventually it'll work out. Alright, so there's some free experience over here. I usually like to group my people back up to get it, but they're so far apart at this point, I don't think I'm going to actually go that route. So I'm going to move down this way with him, and end our turn. And he's going to move over here. We're going to move on to get some experience. And boom, interact. 466 experience. See the little blue bar at the bottom? That means he is getting some levels up. So this is very, very, very basic. You guys should recognize this from every 4X game ever. This is pretty much stock standard at this point. You go around. The only major difference between this game and a lot of the others is that these individual places you literally have to click on and then actually interact with them, as opposed to just moving on top of them and then it automatically triggering. So that's one of the big differences. Like catapult, that doesn't seem overwhelmingly difficult, but considering we only have one unit, maybe it would be pretty detrimental. So again, we're going to continue to go slowly forward. It looks like we have finished our familiar healer thing here, and it looks like we need to I think I'm going to do a stone form. So it's a longer spell. It's 190 as opposed to 60, so it's over 2 times the amount. But it should be a pretty powerful spell, and hopefully it will pan out nicely for us. Looks like our folks need to move still, so we will get them to do so. And we'll get, hopefully, there we go. So hopefully I can get him to move as well. There we go. He is on the way. And another fire one. This one has less guardians, but still, we can't go there. We cannot make it. So we're going to end this turn. It's turn 8 at this point. We're going to move to the next spot here, and we're going to hopefully get some more gold, and we did. And we're kind of exploring the map. It looks like we're right on the edge of the map too, which is always nice. And in case you guys were wondering, and it was something that bothered you, excuse me, you can rename your towns. Bumpington, DC, it is, bam. So you can rename your town. I think you can rename your heroes and stuff as well. I'm not 100% certain on that one. It's been a while since I've had a hero in the game. I've done a lot of like early on attempts at it, and there we go, some more gold for us as well, without actually gaining too much. Alright, we're going to end our turn once again. Let's keep exploring out further and further, and hopefully finding some good stuff. Let's hear possible rewards. It looks like we'll get some more. Ooh, looks like we found maybe a neutral camp. That's interesting. You don't usually find another city that close to you, but I suppose. Alright, and boom, back to Bumpington, DC. Our population has increased. Let's head back there. Take a look. We have one extra person, but it looks like they went into the rebel side of things. So that's unfortunate. So we still only have +1. It is what it is. There's not much you can do about it. But hey, it's fine. We're growing. We're getting a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. It's fine. It's fine. I'm going to move toward that. The resource places, there's no real point to move on to them with your big guys because they don't do anything. We're going to end our turn once again. We're going to move out a little further, guys. I realize the 4X strategy games are not always the most exciting things to move. See, Raiders and Orc Savages. I don't believe we can take that fight, so we're going to continue moving on. Nothing there, nothing there. Alright, so we're going to continue down those paths. And we are going to steal this right under the nose of the enemy. And we're now up to 320 monies, which is pretty darn nice, I'm not going to lie. And we're going to go over here, actually, if I can. Not quite this turn. But soon, very soon, we will be able to. And we'll come over here, and again, exploration is the key. And there are random events that do pop up, guys, both good and bad. This time it looks like it's a good one. The mystical blue moon rises over the world. Sages all over the world rejoice. Research is doubled. Alright, that's sweet, sweet, nice. We have a decent supply of mana. And we are going to... I'm going to look to see if I can find a way of showing combat off before the end of this episode, guys. We got a little bit more money. What was it that we couldn't handle? Raider and Orc Savages. I don't know how strong Orc Savages are. That's one of the downsides. You can't tell specifically how powerful a unit is, which is kind of a, it's kind of a bummer. Alright, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to interact with this. I don't know. Ooh, there's a hero for hire. Alright. We will hire the hero. And the hero is in the group. Monica Bloodblade. It's a Dark Elf hero. I didn't think it was a Dark Elf hero. That looked like the Orc Raider guys that we were going to go up against. Or what were they? Orc Savages, rather. But apparently they're not. They share the same model, but it's okay. Going to join our armies together, and now we are ready to do combat. So hopefully the combat goes well, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to move on and do that, and in the next turn the combat will take place, and we will see how it plays out. So here we go into the combat screen, guys, and it looks like the threat is pretty low. They're still implementing certain things. Obviously the Orc Raiders are there, but the Orc Savages not showing up. It's okay. The game is still in Steam's early access. It's still in kind of a beta format, so please keep that in mind. It even says down here in the bottom right, it is a development build. So please keep in mind the developers are fervently designing, redesigning, adding, patching, and just improving the game and completing the game. So we have commenced a tactical battle. We can run away, or we can auto-resolve it. We're going to commence the tactical battle. You can also auto-deploy your characters if you were so inclined. Now here's a little bit weird. You can't move the camera at all with any of your keys, but you can with your mouse. I don't know why they got rid of the arrow key movement, but they did. So if you right click, you can rotate around any direction you want for the camera. You can scroll in and out with your mouse wheel, and then if you click the mouse wheel or your middle mouse button, you can actually pan the camera around. So we have these three different people. We're going to throw them into the mix, and bam, just like that, we are set up. Our army is down, and we're going to hit the little X down here. And those are the ones we are up against. 32 health raiders against our 32 health raiders, and then the savages have 68 health. That is mildly impressive. They probably hit pretty hard. Yeah, 19 to our 13.2. So we're going to have a little bit of a problem dealing with them. However, we have quite a bit of stuff on our side right now. So what I'd like to do is get giant strength going. So anytime you attack an enemy, the enemy actually gets a counterattack against you as well. So it's not quite as simplistic as you might think going into battle, because you really have to plan for that. Alright, so we've cast giant strength on one of our guys. They're trying to close with us, but they can't quite make it, and I am going to go all out trying to make our guy as strong as possible. So I'm going to use the freezing weapon. There we go. On him as well, and he does 25 damage now. I think I'm going to lead off with our slightly more tanky guys and hit with them. They're not going to do as much damage. They did 20, but they missed the counterattack. Now we're going to lead off the next attack with our other boys here. We're going to move the camera a little bit and reposition. There we go. And we're going to go up against the Orc Savages. Here we go. And charge in. And bam. So we threw our weapon first. That's one of our skills. And then we hit the second time. So 17 followed by whatever is left. 31 plus 9. So we did a tremendous amount of damage. And we managed to even kill them in one shot, which is sweet, sweet, nice. Now we'll move our hero up to do damage to the Raiders. The Raiders will get hit for very little. And then they will actually smack her pretty hard, I think. Not really that bad. So we did not take much damage. 9 and what, 7? So that's not that impressive. So that's really good for us. So now they're going to actually hit us for 10 with a throw, followed by another hit, which is going to do a total of 15 damage. She's going to survive and retaliate with a 15 attack. Oh, and they actually get to attack a second time? What? She survived that? No, she did not. She's down. So we bought our hero, but we lost our hero, and that's fine, guys. I normally wouldn't go into combat yet until I was a little bit further along, but I wanted to show it off in the first episode, just to show you guys what we were working with. I wanted to try Bless. I don't know exactly what this does, so we're going to put Bless on these guys, and it increases our armor by 2, so that's not bad. And it looks like a lot of our damage has already been negated in that one attack, so we're going to just go up and attack them. And there we go, we hit him for 8 with our throw weapon, And then we followed it up with another smash, and we did a total of 27 plus 6. Yeah, they're crushed. It's over. And we are victorious. But that's pretty much how combat plays out. It's a little on the slow side. It's not 100% streamlined just yet, but again, they're working on it. They've come a long way since the first iteration of the game that I played. They've already added 3 additional races and 2 additional planes of existence, plus just everything is improved quite a bit. So give it a chance, guys. If you like what you see and it's not quite there yet, that's fine. You can still get in, and it's fully playable at this point. So you can enjoy the game even now. If you want to wait until it's fully done, you can do that as well. The game is in Steam's Early Access, and feel free to check it out. I'm going to have all the information down below where you can pick up the game on Steam's Early Access. More information about the developers, more information about the game itself, all that stuff in the description down below, as always. And if you did enjoy, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share it. And I will see you guys in, I want to say, the beginning part of next week for the next episode in this first look series of Worlds of Magic. Until then, my name's Bumpy McSquigums, and I will see you later.